Welcome to the Real Film Nerds Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Real Film Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Hinshaw, as always, raging alcoholic. And guess what? It is Oktoberfest season. I just thought I'd put that out there. No, that's the Sam Adams Oktoberfest, a delightful, delightful brew. So, Mike, let's go ahead and say this podcast is unofficially sponsored by Sam Adams Oktoberfest. What do you think?
Are you sure you don't want to unofficially sponsor it by hashtag Chipotle?
Hashtag Chipotle, we keep you regular?
Yeah. Did you want to do that or no?
I do. You know what? Let's do both. We got two sponsors this week. Unofficial sponsors of the Chipotle and the Samuel Adams Oktoberfest.
Okay, that sounds good.
So there you go, folks. As you heard it, there is my brother from the other side of the country, Mysterious Mike.
Hey, everybody.
So, Mike, when I bite into a peppermint patty, I get the sensation of revenge.
Oh, do you? Well, I guess that rolls into the movie that we're reviewing this week. It's called Peppermint. Peppermint is directed by Pierre Morel, written by Chad St. John, and it's starring Jennifer Garner, John Gallagher Jr., John Ortiz, Juan Pablo Ramba, and it is about revenge. Story centering on a young mother who finds herself with nothing to lose and is now going to take from her enemies the very life they stole from her.
All right. Sounds good. So I was kind of excited to see this movie because I saw the trailers and I had no idea it was even coming out. But this is, I think we pointed this out a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Meg. This is an H Brothers production.
Yeah, man, those guys are making tons of movies.
Yeah, and I saw the trailer and I was like, wow, that movie came out of nowhere. It's cool to see Jennifer Garner back on screen. I'm really looking forward to this just to see what she can do. And I have to say, I wasn't let down, but I wasn't impressed either, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah. Like any red-blooded American, I love a good revenge movie. And this one's not bad, but it's not great. It's just okay.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know if you looked at any reviews. I try not to look at any reviews, but it's kind of hard doing what we do for fun, recording this podcast. I tend to get reviews and things that pop up in my feed, not my Facebook feed, but on my Google Now feed and things like that, just because I'm always kind of looking and seeing what others are doing. And for the most part, the critics, especially the professional critics, are just ripping this movie apart. And honestly, I don't think it was terrible. I don't think it was worth, I think what they have on the tomato meter, like 15%. It's better than that. It's no Meg. Believe me, the Meg was just horrible compared to this movie. I thought this movie was good. Well, not good is a loose word. I'd say average. Yeah,
I agree with you on this one. Like, I love lots of movies like Man on Fire and I'm blanking on some other revenge movies.
Payback?
Yeah, Payback, Law Abiding Citizen. Those movies are great. This one was pretty good. It just didn't quite seem all, I don't know. There was just some stuff in it that seemed a little odd. Like, the director of this movie also directed Taken, which I love. I love Taken.
Well, who doesn't?
That was a great movie. And this one was also really well done with, like, the action scenes and things. It just, some of the story, although fairly believable, some of it, just the way that it was executed, I think was, I don't know. It just didn't quite, it didn't feel as revengey. Like, she was almost a little too nice sometimes.
Interesting. Because I didn't really get that at all. But, okay. Okay. I have to kind of disagree with you on some of the action scenes. I thought the action was really good, but I guess it would probably be put on the editors. Some of the edits just on the action scenes, it was very reminiscent of like the mid 90s like action scenes, a lot of really fast cuts, kind of not sure what the hell's going on. But then they would pull out and it would be fine.
Oh, okay. So some of that like too jerky, too quick to figure out what's going on, but then other times it was like really fluid and nice.
Right, kind of Mile 22-esque, but without the fluidity. Because if you remember, we were discussing that in Mile 22. That was one of the things I wasn't a super huge fan of in Mile 22. There's all this wonderful action, and they're like super tight, like super, super tight. And you're like, oh, okay, what the hell's going on? And then they'd pull out, and you're like, why didn't they just shoot the whole scene like that?
Right, yeah. Yeah, maybe they're just trying to figure out what's working these days. And I couldn't guarantee what is or isn't. You know, this movie kind of reminds me of Death Wish, in that the Death Wish, the remake with
Bruce Willis?
Bruce Willis, was actually not bad. I mean, yeah, it's hard to see Bruce Willis as a doctor, but other than that, it wasn't that bad, and it got ripped apart too. So I don't know what goes on with these critics sometimes.
Well, and I'm going to say this. I thought Death Wish was a pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it. Again, I hadn't seen the original going into the remake with Bruce Willis, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty well done. I think it was probably a little bit better than this movie. Not a whole ton better, but I really did enjoy this. And like you said, yeah, it's hard to envision Bruce Willis as a doctor, for sure.
Yeah, no, I liked this movie in some aspects because it was nice to kind of see Jennifer Garner's character where she was like the mom, and then she kind of comes back and she's like been training and stuff. But I almost wish they would show you some of that stuff because they really just, she's gone and then she comes back. And
dude, that's exactly what I was going to say. Exactly. What is it? There's like, not to spoil it because I don't really think it's much of a spoiler, but there's a period in the film where Jennifer Garner is missing, I guess is the best way to put it, for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years.
And
yep.
No one can find her. No one knows what happened to her. It's like she fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And during those 5 years, they don't really explain what she's doing. They explain a very little bit. And personally, I would have liked to have seen, even if it had to be like an old school montage or something that took place over 5 years, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more than that, because she goes from being this really sweet, kind, loving house mom to a vengeful killer, basically. And they explain there's a time gap there, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the transformation.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they were in such a hurry to show you the action and like the implementation of her revenge that they kind of missed some of the building to it. I don't know. But yeah, there's some aspects of this movie that I wish were more explained. Like she does. Should we get into spoilers?
Well, if you want to, we can. But I say, let's do this first, just for our listeners, because I know they're itching. Michael. How does Peppermint relate to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Well, Matt, thanks for asking. One of the production designers on this movie, Ramsey Avery, was also an art designer on Spider-Man Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh, nice. Very cool. So we got a twofer.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to get that out of the way because I know we're going to have not to scare people off, but to really discuss more of this film, we do have to spoil a decent amount of it because it is a revenge film. And we don't want to ruin, clearly, if you've watched the trailer, you know that her family members die, and that's what sparks the revenge. But we don't want to ruin the rest of it for you. So we got 20 minutes left of this podcast. I know it's kind of early, people. I guess we can close out a little bit before we get into spoilers. I mean, Mike, did you like this movie? It was pretty average. What do you think of the cinematography?
I thought it was okay. It didn't seem like it was spectacular. There was some decent shots, but nothing. I mean, to me, it was just average.
Nothing special. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I'd agree with you. I think it was on that level. Now, not to just roll through stuff here, but the acting, I thought, for the most part, was pretty good. There was one particular actor that I thought did a horrible job and didn't convince me real well at all, and that was the character Diego Garcia, or the big bad guy, played by Juan Pablo Raba.
Yeah, he wasn't very believable.
He was just not a very good bad guy. I mean, he was intimidating and all the other stuff, but his acting was just rough, man, to me. You know, it felt forced, I guess, is a good way to put it.
Yeah. I thought Jennifer Garner did a pretty good job acting. I was believable all of her stuff. Like, the stunts or the action in the movie was, for the most part, I thought really well done.
The only thing I really had a problem with on Jennifer Garner, now I'd say the majority of her acting was good, and I don't know how much of the stunts she did on her own, but I would assume she probably did more than average, and I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if it was or wasn't her, so that came across well. But one of the things that bothered me about Jennifer Garner, and it's probably just a little nitpicky, but when she is injured, say she's shot or cut or whatever, she's not... The acting when her injury isn't quite there, I guess you would say. Like, she's in pain, and she's, like, moaning and screaming for, like, a second, and then that's it.
Well, I mean,
Like,
is that any different than some of the action stars? But I thought...
Yeah, I see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I thought it was good that they actually showed that she took, some damage. Like, all these fights and stuff, you get hurt, and, like, you kind of see it. And that's kind of John Wick-ish, where, he's this awesome guy. He can kill tons of people, but he still gets hurt. And, like, when he gets done with his battles, he, like, has to come back and get all patched up. Like, that aspect I liked. I liked that they showed that she wasn't invincible, Even though she was good, you're still going to take some damage depending on how things go.
Right, it's more believable, it's more realistic, and that was one of the things I did enjoy because I think it was towards the beginning of it. I don't remember the scene exactly or whatever, but she's in her safe place, and she's patching herself up, and she has her medical supplies and everything, but, and it shows her, she's sitting there trying to, patch it up and deal with it, and she's bleeding all over the place, and she's clearly in pain, but it's just, she lets out, like, a groan, and it's just like, really?
Yeah. I can see maybe she didn't emphasize how badly she was wounded or how much pain it would be to have certain injuries. But I still like that she did get injured and that it wasn't completely without, she just wasn't there just like Terminator, like invincible, like going after him.
Okay, yeah. Well, I agree with that. It's just, I know if I was injured like the way she was, I would be just bawling my eyes out like a little girl. But, I'm also a giant pussy, so.
Yeah, I guess there's that.
One that caught me off guard and I had no idea he was in this movie, and you didn't hear about him being in the movie, was good old Method Man.
Oh, yeah, he was in the movie, but not very much. So I think maybe that's why. I mean, he's only in it kind of lightly as a stand-in, detective or some kind of police law enforcement position.
Yeah, he was a narcotics detective, and they introduced a narcotics detective way towards the probably last third of the film, but he still had lines and speaking parts. So you think they would have played that up a little bit more, that, you know, Method Man is in here, and he did a believable good job, if you ask me.
Yeah.
The little bit that he was in it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I like Method Man. Like, he's turned out to be a decent actor, surprisingly.
yeah, he is. He really is. Him and Ice-T and Ice Cube is okay.
Yeah,
Not to
Ice-T,
sit here and keep talking
Ice
about
Cube,
rappers,
and,
but
and Common. I love Common, man.
Dude, Common is one of my favorite actors today. Oh, he was so freaking incredible in oh gosh, that Western show. I'm forgetting the name now. I loved it. Hell on Wheels.
Yeah, Hell on Wheels was awesome, man.
He was so fantastic in Hell on Wheels. And then they killed off his character in that show, and it kind of went downhill after they got rid of Common. And that kind of bothered me. I really loved that show.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that show too. The first few seasons, really good. And Common, man, great actor.
Oh, dude, he was just at a whole nother level on that show. He just was. Wow. I really would like to see him in more stuff. And I think we are. I think there's a couple more films coming out with him. Maybe TV shows too. I'm not sure, but I've seen him pop up recently in some stuff.
Yeah, he was in John Wick 2.
Yeah.
And he
was he in Black Panther too?
I don't know if he was in Black Panther. I don't remember. But he was in another Liam Neeson movie. It was like Taken on the Run or whatever. Like
oh, I didn't see that one.
Well, I mean, it's not called Taken. I just called, like, most of the movies that Liam Neeson was in after Taken have been a form of Taken.
Yeah, are you talking about that one that's fairly recent? It's like probably 2 years old.
Yeah.
Where it's like a train?
No. Well, that's one. So there's like Taken on a Plane, Taken on a Train. There's no. Here, seriously, like, if you look up Liam Neeson movie, I could tell you them in just a second. But
yeah, they're all
yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna find it really quick.
Quickly to the Googles.
Yeah. Oh man, Run All Night. He was in a movie with Liam Neeson called Run All Night.
And was that taken on a bus?
This one was taken with a son.
Taken with a son? Yeah. Like a child's son, or like the son that revolves around the planet?
No, an adult son. Like a child, but adult. And hold on, I'm going to tell you all the Taken movies. So there's Commuter, that's taken on a train.
I have to say, I don't think I've seen most of these.
Yeah, so there's
Don't Hate Me.
Run All Night, which is like taken with his son. Then there's Non-Stop, which is taken on a plane. There's Taken 3. There's A Walk Among the Tombstones, which is like another form of a Taken.
Is that Taken in the Southwest?
No, it's actually like a gangster movie, kind of.
Even though it's the Tombstones?
Yeah, let's see. A private investigator is hired by a drug kingpin to find out who kidnapped and murdered his wife. Yeah, he just has a bunch of Taken movies. I can't blame him, man. You cash in when you can.
Yeah, dude, you got to get paid. And Liam Neeson, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
He really is. I love him. I just haven't seen, because, you know, his movies are like all becoming Taken. And I saw Taken. I enjoyed Taken. I saw Taken 2. I enjoyed that. And then I just kind of, you know, I do want to see the Walk Among the Tombstone one and the Non-Stop one. I want to see a couple of them.
Yeah,
but
Taken on a plane, taken on a train.
I'll wait, you know. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until they're, you know, I don't know. I got time to see them, I guess. And I don't have anything else I really want to watch. I don't know.
Okay, sorry, I really diverged us there, but I just wanted to talk about Liam Neeson.
Nah, dude, it's no big deal. I like him. You know, he's Qui-Gon Jinn. Oh, there you go. There's my Star Wars reference.
Geez, there it is. What color was his lightsaber, Matt? Quick, now.
Oh, it's green.
Okay.
Of course. Qui-Gon is the master of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he was going to be the master of young Anakin Skywalker, but, he got killed by my favorite Star Wars character, Darth Maul.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Okay, I can keep going, but we'll stop. All right, so let's go ahead and do it. Let's put it out there. From here on out, we're going to discuss spoilers for this film, Peppermint. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, go ahead and turn it off and go look at the bottom of the show notes, and you can see what how many rails we gave it. So, all right, Mike, go ahead. I'll let you start off with the spoilers here.
So yeah, for this movie, the thing that disappointed me a little bit were you don't get to see her get trained, in the 5-year space, which we kind of talked about.
Well,
and then
if you remember, they show that little tidbit of her in like a cage fight in like Russia.
Yeah, I couldn't even make out which one she was.
I know. She was pretty beaten up too. But exactly, I agree with you. I think that time period, it would have been nice to see her maybe like training with like, I don't know, something really off the wall, like the North Korean army or something. And then in Russia doing the cage fighting and have it like montaged out, or I don't know. I really think they missed a really good opportunity there.
Right. And another thing that was a little bit, I wish it was better. So the main people, like the people who actually did this to her family, the actual gunmen, you pretty much see them dead, and you don't even get to see her execute them or talk to them or anything. And then
except for at the very beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning. And then she goes on her like rampage, and you're like, well, what are you going after now? Like it seems like you did what you needed to do, and then you do see her take out the judge, and that was kind of a good scene. Like that was kind of fulfilling. But what? Like you missed the attorney. Like there's all these other people that she supposedly kills, and they like talk about it in like 2 seconds, and that's all you get.
And then they show you her executing a whole bunch of. Don't get me wrong, it was cool, but a whole bunch of no-named gangsters as she's making her way up to the top, and it's just like, really? You're going to waste it all on this? I mean, they were wonderful action sequences, but maybe have it as one of the people that we're vested in that we want to see her get her revenge on.
Yeah, and like, I would have liked to see, so she was living in Skid Row. If you're not familiar with Los Angeles area, that is an area where a lot of the homeless people are allowed to just camp and.
It's not allowed; they just do it.
Well, they pretty much. It's pretty much allowed by them not enforcing anything.
That's true. But yeah, that is a legit existing place in LA.
Yeah, I would have liked to see. So there's a mural painted of her and stuff, and I'm like, what happened? What did she do? Like, I would have liked to see a little bit. What, like, her van is like unlocked and it has all these guns and all kinds of stuff. Like, what made her so like worshipped in this in Skid Row that like no one messes with her?
Well, the cops explain it a little bit that she cleaned up Skid Row, but it's still Skid Row, so clearly she got the violent criminals out of there, I guess. But I don't know. I agree. This is more of that plot hole there where they're like, okay, here, check this out. This is awesome. So clearly everybody loves her. They're not going to rat her out, but why?
Right. And like, that's a cool, like the concept's great. Like, criminal living in like with all these homeless. Of course, if she's helping them out, they're going to help her out. But like, I thought that was a cool place to have your home base, your safe place, and they just didn't really explore it. And there's even these couple like kids in the movie that are like kind of her informants, her watchers of what goes on in Skid Row when she's not there, and they don't explain anything about them either. Nothing.
Right, and they have speaking lines, multiple speaking lines, and you have no idea what she did for them to make them love her so much.
Yeah, and I don't know if some of this got cut on the editing floor, because the movie, I think, runs for 2 hours, which, that's, I guess, a little bit long, but
No, it's hour 45.
Are you sure? I thought I saw the running time was like, okay, hour 45. Cool. But
102 minutes.
I wish we got a little bit more of these background things. Now, I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot, but I was just looking for a little bit, like maybe an introduction to those characters, maybe a little like montage of her training.
Right. It's called character development. And I'm not even talking the characters outside of Jennifer Garner's characters. I'm talking about Jennifer Garner's character. It's all these other things develop Jennifer Garner's character. And they left him out.
Right. There's some stuff where she's messing with these drug guys and apparently these drug guys are actually just little guys in the giant ponds of the cartel. And it doesn't say what cartel, it just says cartel. I would have liked to know a little bit more about what that was about and what was happening. I mean, they kind of say that 2 of their deliveries or something are messed up. And there's just things that seem like it was rushed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they should have just showed us maybe, like, even if it was in the montage, like her messing with the people that she's going after, the gang. I don't even think they say what the gang's name is. No, Diego Garcia gang or something. I don't know.
You're led to believe that it's like probably MS-13, something like that, being that it's in LA. But I don't think they openly want to say it's MS-13. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Piss a lot of people off. But, so I agree with pretty much everything you've said, with a couple additions.
Okay, you go. You go.
Don't hate me, Mike. Don't hate me. But yes, I agree 100% so far. I'll wait to talk about the end, but I was not real happy with how it ended. But the beginning of it, the whole story about her family and why her husband and daughter, who was clearly collateral damage, were executed was just ridiculous. I'm sorry. It was ridiculous. So he talked to a guy that his coworker.
Well, no, I don't think it's his coworker. I think it's
not a coworker. It's like a friend or something.
I think it's a friend that he knows through something else. But I don't, because I feel like he called him and then he came over to his business.
Oh, okay.
But I mean,
I thought they were coworkers.
Yeah,
I'm mistaken.
I mean, that doesn't really matter. They were friends.
Right, and you see where I'm going with this. They didn't even perform said act against this drug lord or crime boss or whatever. They just were talking about it. And word got out somehow. And within like a 10-hour period, it went from, or maybe not even that long, it went from, okay, let's do this thing, to Jennifer Garner's husband saying, no, I don't want to do it. I'm smarter than this. If he finds out, we're screwed. To him being executed with his daughter, and they tried to take out Jennifer Garner at the same time, all for just thinking about going after this guy. That was just stupid. That was ridiculous.
Well,
I'm sorry.
To me, they were just trying to show you how crazy and
how psychotic and intimidating this gang leader is, but it didn't work for me, because when the gang leader, you get introduced to him, he's just, I don't know.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine, man.
That really just, it was just dumb.
Okay. That actually didn't bother me. So for once, but
it bothered the hell out of me.
That's fine.
But I agree with you. I would have liked to have seen her actually kill the people she was revenging against. That would have been nice. But I'll hop right to the end. The ending really bothered me. It started out, and I was like, yes, she's going down in a blaze of frickin' glory, right?
Yeah.
So you remember, for those of you who are still listening, and I'm going to spoil the shit out of it, but Jennifer Garner gets her revenge, kills the gang leader in front of a dozen cops, just with a handgun, pulls the trigger, kills them. They let loose on her, and she mysteriously disappears. I was like, that's stupid. I wish they would have just gunned her down and that was the end of the movie and whatever. Clearly they're leaving it open for sequels, but she escapes and later on gets captured or whatever and ends up in the hospital and they save her life and all this other shit. But I really would have liked to seen her go down in a blaze of glory. Like, not to say Man on Fire, but like Man on Fire.
Yeah, no, for me, it was pretty ridiculous because, like, it basically was saying that she's so good and the cops can't shoot anything when they're pretty much at, like, I don't know what, 3 yards range? Like,
I think they were farther than that.
5 or 6 cops.
Yeah, they still were in pretty damn close to point blank range. Like, they would not have missed.
No, and there were so many cops, it seems like she couldn't have, even with the vest on, she couldn't have walked away. No,
they would have, at least one of them would have done some solid damage and she would have fallen over, in my opinion. But that really, I was like, yes, she's going to go out in a freaking blaze of glory. This is going to be great. This is how you end a revenge movie. She's so just got her mission and completed it and she's done. And then they pull that shit on us. And then on top of it, when she's in the hospital room, the one cop comes in and gives her a key and she unlocks herself as she has all these freaking injuries and escapes. Come on. Really? I know you guys want sequels, but Jesus.
You're right. Like, it should have ended, like, I love the fact that she actually killed the guy in front of the cops. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah,
and I thought she was...
Exactly, it was great.
Because that never happens, right? No one ever does it. They always just like... And she was like, no, we're not going to prison. And you're like, yes! Yeah, and then they did the sequel thing.
I was like, this ending is awesome! Oh, this is so good! And then she lives.
Yep.
Ugh. Anyways. Alright, so, Mike, other than that, anything else you want to spoil here today? On Peppermint?
No. I guess at first when I watched this trailer, I thought the name of her daughter was Peppermint. But the name of the movie doesn't totally make sense because that was like the last order of ice cream she got.
Right. See, and the only thing I could think of going into it is that maybe, and they don't even explain it, but this is just where my thinking goes on that, is that maybe when she was in Skid Row, instead of giving the people her name, she said, I'm Peppermint. Kind of like a superhero.
Oh, yeah, and maybe got edited out of the movie, so now it's weird.
Right, so that makes more sense to me, but that's where my thinking goes, just to try and make the movie, I guess, better, or that's what I would have done instead of, her, because she's trying to hide. She's trying to be incognito the best she can.
Yeah.
And so she's not going to want to tell everyone her real name. And then the news media obviously finds out because the FBI tells them or whatever. But still, that's what I think. I think she's like, just call me Peppermint or whatever,
Oh, yeah. What did you think of, like, her using, like, Facebook Live or something like that to get people to come there? I thought that was actually kind of cool. Like,
it was interesting. It was smart.
The new technology.
One thing that bothered me, though, a little bit, this is another one, I probably should have brought this up earlier, but was how they kept cutting to the television over and over again, and the different local news television outlets talking on the television about what's going on. So it's like that, the television outlets almost became a narrator for the movie. And I don't know if I liked it. It was unique. I will give them that. It was unique, but I don't know if it was needed.
Okay.
So, anyways. All right, Mike. So let's get to the meat and potatoes. Why we're here. What do you give? Or nope, not what. Remember, we're the real film nerds. Mike, how many reels do you give Peppermint?
I'm gonna give Peppermint 3 reels.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So,
even with all the things that we just ripped apart, I actually thought it was fairly entertaining. It's not the best movie, but it was kind of it's kind of revengey, and I always like revenge movies, so I'm kind of a sucker for those. I think some of the stuff could have been executed better, but hey, it's I thought it was 3 reels, and did you like that? Executed better. Anyway,
you and your puns.
Yeah,
one of my coworkers will love that if she ever listens to my podcast, because her favorite thing on the planet is puns.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad one, but
next to her children, but
yeah. Other than that, do you need to see this in the theater? No, I mean it's got some action, so that could be all right, but. If you got some extra time and you want to see a revenge movie, this is your movie.
Just what I was going to ask, if this is worthy to see in a theater, if it's a must for a theater.
I don't think it's a must.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. So I'm not as generous as you on this one, believe it or not.
Wow. All right. That's cool.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
I did enjoy this film, but like you, I didn't think it was anything special. There were parts that were neat. If the ending would have ended how I wanted it to, I probably would have given it a 4, but it did not. It ended stupid, and that really just, on top of all the other things we've already discussed, and I'm going to stop there. But I give Peppermint 2.5 reels out of 5.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's not, it's not a 1 or 1.5, but, I did enjoy myself. I liked the majority of the movie. I liked the majority of the story. I liked it as a whole, but there's lots of things that I did not like. So, all right. Well, so Mike, should we talk about our next Legacy cast that coming? I can't talk today.
Sure.
Should we talk about our next Legacy cast that's coming up on Thursday?
Yeah. Well, why don't we tease it a little bit?
Well, and I kind of feel that it's like a precursor to our fun event that we've teased that's coming in October, even though it's not a scary movie, but it deals with scary subject matter. And it's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I, if you know me, you will know what I'm going to rate this one. But we're going to be talking about Ghostbusters on Thursday.
Ooh, are you afraid of ghosts?
Of course. Who isn't afraid of ghosts? They're scary.
Well, who are you going to call?
I'm going to call Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray. Oh, or should I do their character names? Never mind.
Well, you blew that one.
Because I could do both. I could do both, but I was like, no.
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reviewing that. I love the movie. I can watch that movie over and over and over and over. It's so great.
Now, Mike, did you have any of the Ghostbuster toys as a child?
No, actually, I don't think I did.
Wow, you were deprived, man.
Yeah.
Deprived. I loved Ghostbusters, including the animated cartoon. The first one, not the super shitty second one. The first one was pretty good. The second one was really bad. But I had the car. I had Ecto 1.
Ooh, awesome.
I had Ecto 1, and I had the main characters, and that was it. And I remember they had the firehouse. And one of my friends at the private school I went to, don't think it's fancy, people. It wasn't. It was basically I went to school at church. But one of my friends at my nice little school church had the firehouse. And I was like, oh, you bastard. That thing was so cool.
Neat, man. Neat.
And we would play, and I'd bring the car over because he didn't have the car. So
I think I remember drinking.
High C Ecto Cooler, baby.
High C Ecto Cooler. yes, that's it.
So as you could tell, people, I know I enjoy my Ghostbusters. I mean, I didn't even have to think about that one. Oh, it's terrible. All right, so our next podcast coming up on Thursday is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a great one. I don't have anything else this week. Oh, not this week, on this episode. What about yourself, Mike?
No, I think that's it from me. So with that, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you for listening to The Real Film Nerds. Now, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Real Film Nerds. Now, go out and catch a movie.